Today, I'm bloody lucky enough to have Grant Haywood in the studio with me from Horizon Minerals.
So yeah, we are looking at changing the name due to the confusion. So
Riches is exactly what's happened after a couple of weeks ago. Your capital raise, $175 million. Congratulations.
Yeah, no, thanks very much.
It's a hell of a lot of money. How are we spending it?
And turning that on in the middle of next year. We've got a lot of drilling we want to do as well, as we talked about. Find the new big one, extend our resources.
What's your budget for the next 12 months for the drilling program?
Yeah, well, Burbanks alone's got about $7.5 million, and we've probably just about spent half of that. So we've got another 15,000 metres we want to put out there, but we've got another sort of 4 to 5 million earmarked for other drilling we want to do, so extend our resources. And
welcome back to another episode on the Gold Room podcast. Today, I'm bloody lucky enough to have Grant Haywood in the studio with me from currently Horizon Minerals. Soon to be, actually, by the time this episode is, Grant, there'll be a new name, won't there?
yeah, there will. There's a bit of confusion. There's Horizon Oil, there's Horizon Minerals, us, and there's Horizon Gold. And
Scott Williamson might be bloody a little bit pissy about having the same. He's just got that new CEO role. He might be a little bit annoyed with being asked about his $175 million capital raise.
yeah, that was ours. And yeah, I can see his annoyance. Yeah, it's quite funny. Even my own auntie bought shares in Horizon Gold instead of Horizon Minerals, and then double the money, and then only put half back into us. So she goes, "Oh, I'm risk free now with your company." But yeah, even family and friends get confused. So even when Scott was appointed, I got some messages on LinkedIn saying, "Oh, isn't that your job? Where are you going?" It's no, it's not us, mate. It's someone else. So yeah, we are looking at changing the name due to the confusion. So yeah, we're following in Volt's footsteps. We're running a competition with the team to generate a new name. So exciting times.
What does the winner get?
We've got a nugget that's worth about $1,000. So it's a nice size nugget that you can put into a pendant or something in that nature. So I think the ladies in the office are pretty keen, and I think the wives and girlfriends of the guys have already putting a few names forward as well. Yeah,
bloody oath. Well, mate, look, we always start with the life and the times. So take us back to the early years. You're a WA boy?
Yeah, I am. I was born in Cottesloe Hospital, which doesn't exist anymore because my dad was a policeman at Fremantle station there in the early days. So yeah, we used to live in those old 2-story sandstone, skinny sort of apartment houses, and yeah, grew up in Freo, so I'm a tragic Freo Dockers supporter, unfortunately, as well.
No one's perfect, mate.
I know. And then, Dad got transferred to Collie, and that's where I really call home, I think. So,
it's all your schooling down in Collie?
Yeah, I went to a place called Fairview Primary School and Collie Senior High School. So, yeah, Collie's a great place to grow up. There's, our place, we had 1.5 acres that was on the edge of town that sort of backed onto the river, so you could go, redfin perching and catching marron and all that sort of stuff growing up. And as kids in the time, you come home when the sun's going down and
street lights come on.
That's it. I love it. So yeah, really, really good place to grow up. Plenty of fresh water to go, fishing on your canoes, swimming, and all that sort of stuff. So
awesome. So you're a mining engineer, and you're also a economist.
A master's in mineral economics, so I'm a mineral economist. Yeah.
Mineral economist. It's a bit of a tongue twister.
It is. It is. Even I struggle. Yeah.
So your high school years, what were you thinking about? Did you have any idea about getting into mining, or what were you thinking?
Look, I always wanted to do something where I could sort of use my brain and be outdoors. And I was tossing up between being a vet and getting into mining. So Collie being a coal mining town, you're sort of exposed to it. And I did a focus on mining tour in the April school holidays in year 12, and we went up to Kalgoorlie, and then you spend sort of two days at Wasm, and you're doing all the fun stuff with, laboratory experiments and that. And then, we went out to the Gidgee Roaster at the time and a few processing plants. We went underground at Mount Charlotte with these huge trucks running around that I hadn't seen before. And I think what sold me on becoming a mining engineer was there was this issue with a stope and while the old shift boss was having a conversation with this 25, 26-year-old mining engineer, and just the way we were sort of on the sidelines because he was showing us around, and then the shift boss came up and said, "Oh, I've got this issue," and just the way they interacted and they problem solved and they got a solution together. And I thought, geez, that young fella's having a bit of an influence at this place.
Awesome.
I'd like to be one of those guys, I think, and that's when I flipped and decided exactly what I wanted to do. No
vet course after that?
No.
So you told me earlier that your 4-year mining engineer degree, you turned into 5.
Yeah, I'm not really a slow learner, I don't think. Maybe others will disagree. But back in the day in Collie, there was a Collie Federated School of Mines. So it was affiliated with Curtin and Wasm as well. So, and the way it worked was you sort of did one semester over a full year. So it took you 2 years to do it. And it was fantastic because I'd work 4 days a week at the mine. So I worked for Griffin Coal, earning a little bit of money. 1 day a week was lectures, then a couple of evenings after work was also lectures. So
awesome.
I just and they throw it around like it's a really good traineeship. So I spent a couple of months with the geologists, a couple of months with the surveyors. I even did maintenance planning, learn how to play euchre and cheat at euchre, and then you go and spend time with the sparkies, which you probably know. They were big on the dominoes in the sparkies, so that's what they used to do at lunchtime.
In the crib room?
In the crib room, yeah. But
I've spent a bit of time in the crib room.
Yeah. It was fantastic. You're getting on trucks and dozers and all your operations experience as well. So you come away and then then you go to Wasm and do your last 3 years, but you've got this great background and really know what the industry's about. And by the time you graduate, it's an extra year of study effectively, but you've got at least sort of 2 years experience that really sort of set me up, I think.
You have. Do you remember your first job after you'd completed your time?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Yeah, I do.
Was it from from some vacation work that you'd done?
I had a job lined up in July and we're graduating in November. And by the time November come around, it had fallen through. The company went bust. So
what was the company?
I can't remember what it was, but I'd done my fourth year thesis on drill and blast and stuff at a company called Kalgoorlie Gold, which has got the Bailey's Reward Mine, which is part of Focus out of Kalgoorlie now. So, and those guys were kind enough that I'd been working with them all year on my thesis, and they said, "Oh, look, we need a bit of a hand. Why don't you help with us?" So I worked with them for 5 months, and then my very first job was at the Bounty Gold Mine, which was an underground mine, and I saw that develop from sort of the 4th level when I got there to, we sunk a shaft to like 43 levels, and we're linking up the decline and incline from the bottom of the shaft and the top of the sort of the bottom of the decline linking up, and saw that mine change seismically as well. Like it just, it was quite a good learning experience as well, my first job there.
Awesome. From engineer to CEO, what did that pathway look like for you?
Probably pretty standard. So I sort of just worked my way up through the ranks through operations to sort of, underground manager, pit manager, mining manager, general manager. So my first general manager job was at Caros Dam in the Saracen days, and that was really great as well because we just I got there and we had about 6 weeks to go on commissioning. So Saracen had sort of brought this operation back into life, refurbished the mill and the camp and those sorts of things, and then they wanted a generalist to come along and run it. So it was fantastic opportunity and loved it. Yeah.
Where to after Caros Dam?
Then I went to a company called Phoenix Gold, and we sort of did some feasibility work, and the attraction was to go and do a feasibility study and then go and build it. But we ended up getting taken out by Evolution Mining. So that's their Castle Hill project they're developing now. So didn't get the chance then, and then I suppose that's what sort of led to Horizon, was another opportunity to sort of do that, and sort of was in operational roles, consulting initially, and then was sort of COO and moved into the CEO role probably 2.5 years ago now.
Beautiful. Taking it from rags to riches.
Yeah, well, that's the aim.
Riches is exactly what's happened after a couple of weeks ago. Your capital raise, $175 million. Congratulations.
Yeah, no, thanks very much.
It's a hell of a lot of money. How are we spending it?
Yeah, look, I suppose I suppose I'm an operator, as you've probably picked up, and I suppose when I become CEO, it was on that pathway to just get into production. We've always had the vision of getting our own plant and being an independent gold producer rather than relying on toll treatment. So, it's pretty pleasing to get the study work done. The team's done a fantastic job on that, and then obviously being fully funded just sets us up now. So
it's because you're going to refurbish the Black Swan processing plant.
Yeah. So it's interesting that we sort of merged with a nickel company, and we're a gold-focused company.
Was it Poseidon? Poseidon Nickel?
Poseidon Nickel, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we did that merger in February last year, and then that just gave us that capacity to treat our own ore. We'd actually kicked the tyres on 5 or 6 plants, and for various reasons they didn't work, and we had a really good crack at one that failed. So
what was that?
Oh,
Kirkalocka?
No, it wasn't that one, but it was one in the Goldfields.
Okay.
And look,
was it one that was sold to Black Cat?
It's one near there. I don't think I can still say now because
Okay,
we're probably under a CA. I hate to get the lawyers involved. But,
all right. We don't want the lawyers involved.
No. But I suppose, a bit of nasal gaving. Like I think the family, Dad's had a shitty day if he's got his feet in the pool out the backyard and got a beer and just taken 5 minutes before he re-engages with us. And that's when I thought of Poseidon, and obviously the plant we could refurbish and repurpose it to a gold plant. And I suppose then we sort of entered a process and ended up sort of getting that transaction done. Yeah.
Awesome. What will it cost for, what are the costs associated with upgrading from upgrading the processing plant nickel to gold?
Yeah, it's $101 million for the plant itself. Replacement value is well over $200 million. There's 45 on infrastructure, so a lot of that's on sort of diesel backup power, building a new camp, infrastructure for roads.
Are you on the main Western Power?
We are, but we're on that ELP scheme where you get curtailed. So obviously the Goldfields hot summers at peak loads, you get shedded. So it's like the last on, first off. So we'll be load shedded, and we could lose 12 to 14 days of production a year under our modelling. So you're just better off having a backup generation power so you can just keep going.
Who are you using for that? Yuan or Zenith?
Early days.
Oh,
So
don't know. Tenders.
Yep, that's it. So we're getting a list together now. So yep.
Oh, beautiful. Why Horizon? Why did you set your sights on Horizon?
I think it was the opportunity to go and build something, and you don't always get that. Like a lot of times, you can design things and never see it implemented. And I think, and I think that's why we've been able to attract a pretty good team as well. I think everyone's excited about actually building something and getting it going. So that's what excites me, and I think it excites our people. So that's the opportunity, isn't it? It's that's the key.
Step into a CEO role. A CEO goes out, and you step in, and that's sometimes how it works. But I think being able to build something is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
from the ground up.
Yeah.
Who you got as your CFO? Who's your COO?
So Brendan Shelders is our CFO. So long story about him is he was with Poseidon for 5.5 years as a CFO in the last sort of 6 months as the CEO, and he ran the process to try and extract value for their shareholders, and that's how the merger came about, and that's when we worked closely together. So, and obviously 2 CEOs don't fit into one, so he sort of went off for a little while, and then an opportunity was there, and he rang up and said, I'd love to come and be involved, and he's a fantastic guy and knows the assets inside and out, not just Poseidon but ours when we're obviously putting companies together. So he's seen the other side as well. So really pleased he's back.
That's awesome.
COO, haven't got one at the moment. So small company growing, you're wearing many hats, and it's as we grow, as I say to my guys, it's time to put on our big boy pants. We're not a 25 million market cap company anymore. After this raise, we'll be 400 plus. So, we need to think big and make sure we execute this plan, have the right resources in place. So we'll be looking to fill some of those roles.
Beautiful. Can you run me through the capital raise?
Yeah. So it's $175 million. Our register's not largely institutionalised. We've got some large Hong Kong investors, and then a lot of institutions around the 1% to 3%. So I think we've got really good support from Hong Kong, but also North America. So there'll be some really good names coming onto our register. So it's sort of institutionalised with some names that people will know, and some good European support as well. So that's really pleasing. And we've also got an SPP for current shareholders, so they can get in at the same price and make sure that their loyalty for being with us for so long and on this journey with us, they can also participate.
Beautiful. The Black Swan strategy, I really like it. I was sitting down with Wayne Bremmel the other day, and we were talking about if you've got a processing plant in the Goldfields, you're set to win, right? So there's a IGO site, Cosmic Boy, out in Forestania.
Yep.
Nickel plant. Yep. How long do you reckon until someone does the same thing?
Well, it's becoming more popular, isn't it? Because they're obviously doing it, and we sold with the Poseidon merger we did. We had a Lake Johnston asset as well, which we divested first to Forestania Resources. So we sold that for $35 million, and they're doing the same thing as well. They're converting that nickel plant to a gold plant. So I suppose there's a bit of a race to see who does it first.
Yeah.
But it's not that hard really. It's the front end's all the same. You know, you're crushing and you're grinding through your mills is exactly the same, whether it's nickel or gold, and it's really just the benefication, how you actually extract the metal out of the rock, and that's the thing that's different. And CIL plants are pretty common, especially in the Goldfields. So putting a CIL plant on the back of the crushing and grinding circuit is pretty straightforward. So yeah, we hope we're the first.
Yeah, first of many, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great for the industry.
Definitely. Kalgoorlie consolidation. You know, like your M&A, you've gone around and you worked with a great team to bring on all these smaller companies and turn it into something large. Do you think that's something that a lot more companies are going to be doing in the future?
Yeah,
certainly in Kalgoorlie.
Yeah, I think so. Like we did a merger with Greenstone in sort of June 24, which brought in 500,000 ounces and got us that critical mass that then we could pull the trigger on the plant, which then led to the Poseidon merger. So it's great growth strategy, but wouldn't recommend doing 2 mergers within 12 months. A fair bit of work, but there's more to go. There's more to go, not just with us, but the other players in the region. And there's a lot of companies where we were 3 years ago that have got really good assets, but they've got no processing solution. And there's a lot of other assets that the big guys have got, but it's either too far from their processing infrastructure or it's just a little small for them. As Wayne has talked about with Westcore, sometimes things don't quite fit. So, but those things would be right in our wheelhouse. So, we'll look for those opportunities to bring in other assets that can expand our mine life from 5 years to 8 years to 10 years. So we're talking about a 5-year life of mine plan, but we want to be there forever in the Goldfields.
Yeah, beautiful. That's awesome. The Black Swan plant, right? So $100 million. How long will it take to get it up and running?
Yeah, it's about a 12-month build. So we're working through what's called the feed study, so the detailed design and EPC docs come out of that. And then we're moving into construction quickly. So we'll start construction in the middle of this year.
Okay, cool.
Start commissioning around May, June next year and be
First
producing
gold?
Gold bars. Yep. So
First gold
middle
when?
of next year, yeah.
June, July next year?
Yeah, well, through commissioning, we should get some gold out in May, June next year. So,
beautiful.
And then full steam ahead from July 1st
Awesome.
next year. So, exciting times.
That's really awesome. Let's go through the production pathway, right? So as of May, June next year, where is all the ore coming from? What sites?
Yeah, look, we've got probably about 23 resources on the resource book, but there's probably 10 that have come to the surface that'll feed the plant. So we need probably 3 to 4 mines running at any one stage to fill our 2.2 million tonne per annum plant. And our biggest resources are what we call our cornerstone assets is our Barara project, which we've mined before and treated that at Paddington more recently. There's 500,000 tonnes that we can put through Black Swan, so we've already got a great start there. And our Burbanks project as well, which is our highest grade
Did Burbanks did Ramelius used to have Burbanks?
Ramelius used to have the Burbanks plant, and the mine is separate. So the mine used to be Barra Resources, which became Greenstone, which is now part of us. So,
okay.
Yeah. So those two big projects will feed the bulk of the plant, and then we'll top it up with other open pit and underground ore.
Okay. Grant, let's get into capital discipline. You've got all this money. How do you make sure that it's going to the right places and not being... That's what an investor wants to see, right? That it's going to the right places. It's not being frivolously spent on something else. What are you doing as CEO to make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, I've got a very good CFO as well, and we've already got like delegation of authorities and cost levels and all those sorts of things that other companies have. But yeah, we're very conscious that you don't want to see a big pile of cash in the bank and then you're frivolous with us. So it's got to be very disciplined with our capital expenditure, and every dollar counts, and markets can change and those sorts of things. So, we need to maintain our headroom to the gold price and make sure we're still productive, and we don't want to waste a dollar. So strong capital management with our growth plans, like in the infrastructure side of things, but also every dollar that we put in the ground through the drill bit as well. We want to have good targets and make sure that every hole's not a winner, but you want to give yourself the best chance. So shareholders, rest assured, there'll be tight capital discipline for sure.
Beautiful. What about resource growth?
Yeah, look, we've got a fantastic package out there, like over 1,300 square k's of tenure. A lot of it outside our normal resource base we've got now is really, really good country. Like, it's on really good geological structures, and it's largely unexplored, even for a mature belt like the Goldfields of WA. But a lot of our ground's only been drilled to 40 or 50 metres, and some of it hasn't even had the modern exploration techniques. So I'm sure there's more discoveries to find out there, and we're actually ramping up our drilling programs in the coming months as well. So
awesome. Give a shout out to a couple of what drilling company are you using? Well, you'd be using a couple, wouldn't you?
Yeah, we've only got diamond drilling in our Burbanks project, so
Okay.
that's a 30,000 metre program. It's a big one at the moment, so we're using Westcore out there.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And then we'll start some air core programs and some RC programs. And look, we're a Kalgoorlie based company. Our chair lives there. We'll be talking to the local guys.
Yeah, awesome. M&A outlook.
Yep.
Let's get into that. What's next?
Oh, geez. There's a lot of stuff I can't talk about.
Okay.
But
that's the stuff I want to hear.
Yeah. Look, there's a number of discussions ongoing, and some of those are more about acquisitions of ground or ounces. So no other mergers in the pipeline at this stage, but we're always talking to companies about what works for them and us, and does 1 and 1 plus, does 1 plus 1 equal 3 or 5 or something like that. So we're always trying to turn over our portfolio as well. So, we've also optioned out some ground, so we don't want to landlock everything. We've got a large package, but, if some of our, ground belongs in someone else and they can make more use of it, well, that's a good outcome as well. So always turn the portfolio over to try and improve it. Yeah.
I like that. Let's talk about the gold price environment. She's bloody crazy out there.
Yeah, it is. It's it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? So when the world goes to shit, the gold price goes up. So it's it's great being in the gold industry. There's a lot of geopolitical tension around trades and wars and currency and those sorts of things. So you do worry about the future for the next generation. But I think there's been enough cycles to show that these things sort of come and go, and then things stabilise. So I think the gold price is strong. I think it's still got some legs, but it's not going to stay there forever, I don't think. And I think as I say to my guys, it's our time to go. Like we've got a key piece of processing infrastructure. We've got critical mass of ounces in the ground, and we've got good support and funding now. So let's just go. Let's go and execute and deliver.
Yeah, process gold, get gold bars out while the sun shines.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Mate, the next 12. This is my last question for you. The next 12 to 18 months, very bloody exciting times for you. Give me a rundown.
Yeah, look, I suppose construction, as we talked about.
Who are you? GRs, Maccas?
GRs.
GRs,
yeah,
awesome.
GRs, yeah. So GRs will they've been doing the study work for us. They're doing the feed study at the moment, and they'll go and build it for us. So very exciting. That's going to start in the next few months.
Company.
Absolutely.
Done the right thing in the Goldfields for many years.
Yeah, and that's their bread and butter, building gold plants. And turning that on in the middle of next year. We've got a lot of drilling we want to do as well, as we talked about. Find the new big one, extend our resources.
What's your budget for the next 12 months for the drilling program?
Yeah, well, Burbanks alone's got about 7.5 million, and we've probably just about spent half of that. So we've got another 15,000 metres we want to put out there, but we've got another sort of 4 to 5 million earmarked for other drilling we want to do, so extend our resources and find the new ones. So yeah, we've got a decent budget.
Beautiful, mate. Well, look, thank you very much for coming and spending the time with me. I wish you all the bloody luck, mate. Not that you need it, because you've got a great team. I'm actually going to be sitting down with Ashok later on, or next couple of days, and getting his side of the story. He's probably been instrumental in with Horizon, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, he's been the constant as well. So he came on board through a merger we did in 2019, and he loves it. He loves Kalgoorlie. He loves gold. He's so connected. He's so connected.
Who doesn't know? Kalgoorlie, mate.
Oh, I could sell his Rolodex for probably $1 billion. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's the king of Kalgoorlie, and he lives in a palace. He's got the palace up there.
He does have the palace.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, mate. Look, thanks very much once again. I can't wait to get this episode out. Also looking forward to the name change. Is the name change only available to your current staff, or anyone can bloody have a little crack?
Oh, geez, that's a hard one, Josh. I think the horse has bolted because we've closed the comp, mate. You've just missed it. Missed
it. We could have bloody put it out there through our listeners. All right, mate. Well, as I said, thanks once again.
It's been a pleasure. Enjoyed it, mate.
Awesome,
Thanks.
Cool. Thank you very much for tuning into this awesome episode. Make sure you jump on and have a look and do your own research, but have a look at bloody investing in some gold companies. There's some amazing things to be doing with your money out there in these tough times, and I don't know. My opinion is do some research, have a crack. Don't go wasting your money on the bloody booze and the cigarettes. I did it for many years, but you don't need to follow in my footsteps.